Clear, sunny skies, but a torrent flooding the street. The terrible sight of mine water pouring through roads in Skewen. Sarah and her family gathered what they could. 2 weeks on, they're still coming to terms with what's happened, but wanted her to speak to us on their behalf.
So it came flushing through and we were just trying to salvage loads of stuff and take it upstairs. We lost loads of furniture.
And it's not just the water, it's everything else, isn't it?
Yes, we did lose a lot of stuff and still in a state of shock. We go to the hotel and then we come here twice a day to feed the cats. Probably a year or a year and a half.
Before you can move back in?
Yes.
There's still a lot of work to be done. Here, they've put in a temporary road to let some people get back home. The area contains a large number of mine workings, many of which date back to the 1800s. Many miles of tunnels will have flooded over time. It's thought an existing drainage route became blocked. Water that might otherwise have drained away instead found another way out. Last year, Storm Dennis was blamed for a landslide on a coal tip near Tylorstown. The coal industry might be all but gone, but do we need to do more to deal with its legacy?
Now, some of my family were originally from round here, and as a child I remember coming here when this was a working pit, a busy industrial site. Fast forward 30 years and things are really very different, but it's taken a lot of work to get to this stage.
This was the end of Taff Merthyr Colliery. Within a year, water from underground was in danger of contaminating the nearby river. The solution, a system of pumps and lagoons managed by the Coal Authority.
We do a lot of monitoring. We monitor over 200 sites across Wales. Here, the water's collected from the shafts and comes through, as you say, a series of lagoons and reed beds to make sure that it's clean by the time it goes out to the river and the lakes beyond it. Over 1,000 tips in Wales, which have all now been properly mapped and risk assessed. The Coal Authority owns 26, and we've looked after those in detail over the years since they've been on our ownership. And really now the project with Welsh and UK Government is about getting all of those tips up to that same level of maintenance and inspection.
Now, what's happened at Skewen? What more do we need to be doing then to effectively stop this happening somewhere else?
It's a very, very unusual set of circumstances, very specific things that have happened in the mine workings underneath, and obviously the work that we're doing at the moment, my team's been working around the clock to do everything we can to fix the problem and to build a new scheme to manage that water into the future. But I would emphasise it's a really, really rare situation. 52% of the population of South Wales live on the coalfield. The vast majority will never experience any problems.
Well, some reassurance there perhaps from the Coal Authority, Mike, but there have been some developments on this story this afternoon.
Yes, they have. I mean, I always feel the pictures that we've seen from Skewen, we've shown on the programme, I've been down there twice in the last few weeks, don't almost do justice to the scale of what has happened there, the number of people who have been affected in parts. Now, while residents who have been affected, had their homes flooded, have welcomed the support they've had, considerable teams from the Coal Authority who've been helping in the clean-up and will be there for months, making it safe and putting in a long-term solution. People are able to return to their homes now and quite literally count the cost of the damage there. Many, while they are insured, some of course who aren't, feel that the support that has been made available to them from the authority scheme hasn't actually extended far enough. They feel that while it's covered, say, some of the, they've been told effectively that their home insurance is going to have to cover what's there, and these things sometimes have their limits. Now, this has not gone unnoticed. The issue was raised today in the House of Commons by the local MP, Stephen KINNOCK, because, of course, the Coal Authority does come under the UK Government, so that's the appropriate forum for it. Here's what he had to say, and here's what the response was.
The disused mine workings that caused this incident are the responsibility of the Coal Authority and ultimately of the UK Government. Will the Honourable Lady therefore ensure that the Government will fill the gaps that are not covered by insurance and will also provide financial support to those who are not insured?
The Coal Authority doesn't have liability for flooding. Flooding, whether from a river, stream or groundwater, is dealt with obviously mainly through insurance, and I know that the Welsh Government emergency grant, equivalent to the Belwyn scheme for those affected by flooding in England, provides a higher sum.
So what did people living in Skewen, local people, make of that exchange?
As you can imagine, people are nearly 2.5 weeks on now coming to terms with the scale of what's happened and what the months ahead will look like. There's a great many months before many will be able to return to their homes. I was talking to someone a short while ago who said, people are genuinely feeling angry. They feel that this is something through no fault of their own. They're being told by various levels that effectively they've got to find that money on their own. Now, there is a wider thing here, as we've touched upon previously, and indeed in last night's Sharp End, the Environment Minister said she would expect that we may have to inspect even more mine workings. We already know there's a cost for inspecting tips across Wales. This is going to be an issue discussed by both the Welsh and the UK governments. I think we'll be coming to it many more times in the months ahead.
Sounds like we will. Mike, thank you.